Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Well, besties, the taglines are out for Beverly Hills, honey. I wonder why they don't come out to the second or third episode. And then I never noticed on the first episode that I didn't hear the taglines, but I have them. Let's go over them. Uh, Happy day after Thanksgiving. I know we all tired, full, itis, sleepy, blah, blah, blah. It's been a wonderful day to relax, but I just wanted to get on here just to do it. Okay, so Kyle Richards, this is her tagline. These heels have eyes and they're all staring at me. Girl. Anyway, Sutton, I honor my fine Southern manners by putting you in your place. Yeah, that's cute. Garcelle, Cools. Oh no, I've been in the game too long to play by someone else's. Okay, Garcelle, you sound like a OG over here, girl. Erica Jane in Beverly Hills, money buys a lot, but my independence, priceless. That's cute. Bose. Oh, my phone. Okay, Bose. Introducing the greatest product I've ever marketed, myself. Hey, I'm here for it, honey. Yes, yes, yes. And then Dorit. I might look like a dog, but don't wind me up. Child, that sound like the producers. I think the producers, don't they all write their taglines and give it to them? I don't think they write them themselves. Cause that one, Dorit, that just sounds like a recycled one where they just changed some nouns and just gave it to her. Welcome, besties. Happy day after Thanksgiving. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly, and now let's do some kicking and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 14, Episode 2, A Sobering Separation. Do we like the title of this episode? Wow. I do. It's okay. We can keep it. We can keep it. How would you rate this week's episode, besties? It was pretty good. Beverly Hills is starting out strong. This is episode 2, and I'm here for it, honey. It gets a good. It was a little boring, a little bit, but I'll give it a solid 8. I'll give it an 8. You drop down in the comments and you let me know what you will rate this week's episode. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And you know the rest. Check the bell. Make sure it's on. Ding dong. Tell a friend. Comment. Be respectful. Talk. I talk back. That's how it goes. Now let's get to this. Dorit says, they're continuing from last week when her and Kyle was going back and forth and back again, honey. Dorit says, our history counts. 8 years of a deep sisterly friendship. Kyle, you said I exaggerated our friendship. And Dorit says, Kyle pretty much just flushed their friendship down the toilet. Kyle says at BravoCon, Dorit's hesitance of picking who was her favorite Richard sister is what made her sad and it hurt. She says she cried after that. And she says, Dorit, you knew what I was going through. And, and then Dorit, and then she said, you said that I turned my tears on for attention. Child, if that ain't a word, turn my tears on for attention. That's a good one, Dorit. That was a good one, girl. Dorit over there smirking because she know that was a good one. She over there looking at Kyle like, girl, ain't none of this finna work. Not here, not today. Not today. So she's like, why are you smiling? And so, she tells Kyle, you're doing exactly what I thought you would do. She said, you think I'm an idiot. Yeah, Kyle thinks all of you ladies are idiots. If you really want to know, she ain't loyal to none of y'all. She said you were mad about what I said on Watch What Happens Live when Andy asked how was Kyle and Morgan's relationship affecting their friendship. Dorit felt like they were drifting apart. That's kind of what happens when your friend get a new boo and she in love and head over heels. It happens. Why are you mad about that? Kyle, you can't get mad when you putting all this on display. Honey, you was doing a lot quick, and now it seems like you are regretting it. She feels like Kyle got mad and it may have caused problems with her and Morgan. Well, yeah. And not because of what you said, Dorit, but Kyle and Morgan was going to be a mess anyway because Kyle is still married. And did Kyle say she was a lesbian? She don't even know what she is right now. And I mean, she could be having a Niecy Nash moment. Niecy Nash says she's not gay. She just happened to fall in love with someone who's a woman. And that's how she describes it. Dorit says she'll move forward with Kyle if she can just come clean. But Kyle isolated her and, didn't speak to Dorit for months. So Kyle says, Dorit, I'm struggling. I was struggling. And she says, then Kyle's like, I know I was a good friend. You ain't going to sit here and tell me to my face that I was not a good friend. I know I'm a good friend. And so Kyle said, can you just give me some grace? I've been going through it for 2 years. Dorit said, I did give you grace, Kyle. Lots of grace. Honey, what? She said lots of grace until Kyle said what she said. And she said, grace time is over. Now, baby, Dorit is on it, honey. Dorit is on it. I don't know if this separation is putting a battery in her back, but she ain't taking and putting up with nobody's mess. So if I was to change the title of this episode, it would be called Grace Time is Over. I love it. Come on, Dorit. What else you got to tell us? So Kyle gets mad and she walks off. If you ain't talking her talk, you ain't kissing her butt, she gonna walk off. So she walks up. She leaves the party. She's out front. Dorit tells Erica and Bose she's fed up and she's like, goodbye, I'm out. She leaves. Kyle leaves separately, and that's that on that. So Dorit, in her confessional, she says, I am bigger, I am better, and I am stronger than ever. Okay, strong Dorit. You better be strong, girl. So then we over here with Bose. She's hosting her bad ASS workshop. Honey, the girl is bad to the bone, honey. They call her boss. She is boss lady, the boss, a boss, the boss. Okay. So now she's retired, of course. She retired from corporate America. She was the chief marketing officer for all these top companies. There was Uber and somebody else, Netflix. So she's now teaching, she's teaching people how to pivot and to get that corner office, honey. You want the corner? We will show you how to get that corner, honey. So we learned a little bit more about her. Bosma, her name is Goddess. It means goddess, and God, it's a Ghanaian name. And Ghana's a great place. If you haven't been there, make sure you put it on your travel list, okay? You will love it. So she got about 16 names, but honey, the first name is Bosma, and the last one is St. John. There's some other names in there. Okay. So we appreciate the new girl. She's here. She's bad to the bone. But Bose, we got so much drama with Grace and Frankie. Oops. I mean, Dorit and Kyle. Besties, did any of you used to watch Grace and Frankie on Netflix? It is so good. And you understand the point of where I'm getting this from. Like, they're both getting divorced, right? Their husbands are friends. Now, Grace and Frankie, their husbands were breaking up with them because they were a couple. I'm not calling PK and Mo gay. I'm just saying how these girls are both getting about to head towards divorce together at the same time with two men who are friends, you know. So yeah, that popped in my mind when I was watching. I said, "Oh, Kyle and Dorit are the new Grace and Frankie. They better be friends. They gonna have to become friends." So Bose, we gonna run down Bose because she kind of like, I'm trying to get to what Dorit and Kyle talking about, but but the boss wants to intervene and tell us what she got going on. So okay, she is the boss. She was, let's see, hold on, you guys, let me flip my page. Her husband was Italian. They have a 15-year-old little girl. She's really cute. He was diagnosed with, the cancer, and he passed away 3 months later. And that was so sad. So he left her, I believe he left her straight. She's a millionaire and she's Ghanaian. And, she just, hates that he passed away because the daughter was young. I don't know if I wrote that in my notes. But they were robbed of having a relationship, the daughter and the father. And she really just, and I get that because I have too lost my husband. And you just like, it's never the right time. There's always more life to live and more love to give. And you just can't. And yeah, that's how grief does you. You just be like, what do I do with all this love that I have left over? Right. So she what else? She was teaching the people how to get rich. She's beautiful. She has a beautiful, wonderful kid. But I looked online because baby, besties, come here, come closer. Bose ain't always been beautiful. She got some before pictures on the Googler that'll make you go, this is her? Oh boy. Money do make you finer. Because baby, she ain't always been beautiful. There has been some work done, honey. There has been some investments going on her appearance. But anything else? I was kind of like, I'm trying to get back to the drama, girl. We love you, Bose. We understand you got it going on. You rich, you a millionaire. They were married. What else? I don't remember too much else. Okay, so let's move on because I don't remember much else. But she got it going on, and she had the crowd, and the girl had called out, and the girl said, "I am the pivot." And we was like, "Yes, girl, learn how to pivot." So Sutton meets Kyle for drinks, and so I was like, "Kyle, is that a cocktail or a mocktail? Because you're not drinking no more, honey. What is that?" Did y'all notice that? So Sutton got some free Botox a month ago from an Oscars event, and Kyle couldn't tell. She was like, "Can you tell?" And Kyle was like, So Sutton is giving Kyle divorce advice, and Kyle is just not ready for this conversation. She's just like, Sutton is like, run, girl, don't walk, run, and go file. And so Kyle is trying to, in her mind, she just believes that they're going to figure it out and everything is going to be peaches and cream and blah, 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 blah. So Sutton is trying to tell her, men switch up on you because they don't like parting with their money or their toys. You know what I'm saying? And so she said, when it comes to money, people will be different. They'll be difficult, and he's going to be you're going to see a different side of Mauricio, okay? You didn't embarrass this man on a public platform with this woman. You think he ain't bitter about that? You've been all over this girl, traveling with her, going to the gym, getting tattoos, sitting on her lap, going to her concerts, front row, know all the words. Like, girl, you've been in her videos. Just like, you don't think Mauricio finna get you? You think he just gonna give you all his money freely? I mean, you're gonna get something, but I don't think you're gonna get what you want. He's gonna come after you. And plus, you got money. So he gonna meet you, girl. I think he gonna tit for tat you. Okay. So Erica and Dorit visits Bose at her beautiful home. Of course, honey, she's a millionaire, so she got all the bells and whistles. She has a great assistant there. He is wonderful. And so she's hosting the girls. And so we go back and forth between Dorit and Erica at Bose and Kyle and Sutton at the bar. And so Kyle says there's some lack of self-awareness, there's no accountability, I don't know, I think this is Dorit saying this, and she's just like, and she plays by two sets of rules. And so Erica says they are both going through it, both are separated, going after each other, and it's just like she sees both sides. And so then asks what's going on with the husband, and she's all terrible. And she said, he wouldn't drink. They would fight. When he would drink, they would fight. And he would just take off. Like PK would just leave the house for weeks and he would go stay at that. I think he would stay at the Beverly's hotel or whatever. And so the kids are used to him not being there. They always think he's at work. And when he works too much, he stays at the hotel. So this separation will be pretty easy for the kids because they're used to PK not being around as much. And so when, so there's nothing changed and nothing's going to seem weird. And so they ask Dorit, do you think there's a chance for reconciliation? And she says there's a chance of that. And I'm like, girl, I don't know. At the end of this episode, I don't know, girlfriend. I think you in the clouds. You and Kyle in the clouds. So over at Sutton's, she is planning a pizza and PJ's party because she believes like when you're going through a divorce, you need your friends, you need support. So she's gathering the girls up to go over to Kyle's house to surprise her with the pizza and pajama party. So they head on over there. They're surprising her. They trying to get through the gate, trying to say they're Amazon delivery because Kyle always has Amazon delivering to her house. So that's nothing strange. So they get there. And so Sutton tells them that Maurice has replaced a picture of him and Kyle in his office with a picture of him and his dancing partner from Dancing with the Stars. And Maurice has had some reports about him hanging out with different women. It was a woman out when they was in the snow kissing, and some little rumors about the Dancing with the Stars partner. There's been some things. He's been outside. He's outside. So Sutton describes Kyle's reaction to that as hurt and hopeful. Like she still has hope. Hurt and hopeful. That's what Sutton says. So after they sneak inside the gates, she's pleasantly surprised that her sister and her friends have come over. They got pajamas. She changes into the silk pajamas, and they sit and talk about Mauricio and his pictures, So Kyle thinks the pictures are unflattering, but she won't let Kathy talk bad about him because she's like, hey, you look like you could be his daughter. And she's like, no, he doesn't look bad. He's aged. No, he looks good. And so Kathy said, she thought that doing this, talking about him would make her feel good. And she's like, no, that ain't it. And so in her confessional, she says, remember, guys, Mauricio used to work with the Hiltons. And when he decided to break off on his own, there was some friction between him and Kathy's husband. And so she says she don't say his name. Well, don't be sitting in his house talking about him either, because you're being rude and disrespectful. But I get it. You're the big sister. You think she wants to talk bad about him, but she doesn't. Kyle and Dorit are both in the clouds about their separation. Okay, leave her alone. And what does your husband look like? Huh? Can we pull up, what's his name? Rick Hilton. What does he look like? Because honey, Mauricio is fine. Don't do that, Kathy. You might not like him because you think he did you dirty, your husband's company dirty or whatever, but don't do that, honey. Mauricio is the finest Housewives husband out of all the franchises, honey. Mauricio can get it, and he could be on Instagram in the gym taking his pictures. He needs some new chicks. And it ain't hard. Okay, I just put up Richard Hilton. Mm, I mean, you know. Mm, He's not fine enough for her to be talking about Mauricio. I'll say that. He's 69 years old. This is Paris and the other sisters. Yeah, no, he ain't ugly, but now there's some bad pictures. There's some good pictures of, you know how the Googler does, yeah. But no, he's not cute as Mauricio. So, Kathy, I'm gonna need you to be quiet, okay? So they pretty much are gathered around because everybody except for Kathy has been divorced. You know, Erica and Sutton. So they're telling her. Erica tells her to protect herself because you know she's brought a lot to the table. And Erica says she trusted too much. That's where she went wrong with her husband. She trusted too much. Kyle said he sent her flowers for Mother's Day. And Sutton was like, oh, yeah, I used to get flowers and all that. But she said, I didn't get nothing. I haven't gotten anything in a few years. Erica says, you get that monthly payment, though, boo-boo. You over to get $350,000 a month. You could go buy your own flowers, Sutton. Be quiet. Because Erica says she don't get nothing. Okay, she don't get nothing. And by the looks of her regular house, we see. Because, honey, I know that's a big difference. Coming from that big old mansion in Pasadena to this house, we can tell you don't get nothing, Erica. Sorry, honey. But who's Erica dating? She not dating that rich old white man in Vegas? Is that over with? Can y'all let me know? Do we know? Do we know? So anyway, so Kyle doesn't think her marriage is the normal marriage, and y'all can shut up talking about all this because we getting along and we gonna kumbaya. We gonna hold hands through this whole divorce. Kyle, baby, you need to wake up. These women have been through it. You need to wake up. Have you realized what you have done to Mauricio? You done went all on the darn internet flaunting with this girl. You don't think, girl, you have a lot to. Woo, baby, buckle up. Buckle up, Kyle. Buckle up, boo. You gonna need Dorit. Y'all better get back together. So, child, Dorit and PK meet for dinner. Why was PK just stunting on Dorit? Honey, so they trying to figure out how they going to navigate through this new situation. See, Dorit, you have this all wrong. I believe Dorit and Kyle, especially Dorit thinks she's separated to get back together. Baby, no. After this scene, I was like, oh no, honey, PK is separating to get divorced. And you are not paying attention. You are not paying attention. So he asked her, how does, you know, he look, he got this new jacket on. So he stands up. He looked like he lost some weight. So, you know how they do when they single. He got to find a new one, honey. So he going to drop some pounds, got this new jacket on. He spins around. He says, single PK. Child, I ain't here to play with you, PK. What you not going to do is be dropping gems and being passive, single PK. Okay, PK. So he tells Dorit she's his best friend and wife, and if they talk to the server the way that they talk to each other, they would get kicked out of the restaurant. And I said, well, wait a minute, y'all can't be best friends if y'all talking to each other crazy because that don't even go together. What do you mean? But what he is saying is like we talk crazy to each other. So what I'm gathering, y'all be calling each other out y'all names, racial slurs, maybe. You know, y'all going for the jugular, y'all going beneath the belt. You are just gutter sniping each other, all this rage and hatred for each other. It's not good. Because, honey, I don't care. That verbal abuse, which is mental and emotional, and it can become physical. But baby, especially if you're dealing with somebody that drinks too, I wonder ooh. Anyway, yeah, just talking to each other crazy. Ooh, that is not good. So he feels they stopped liking each other. Well, PK has stopped liking Dorit. We don't even know if Dorit likes PK. She just likes the situation. She just in it, and she in it for the long haul. But she wants to understand him. And so he says when she talks to him in these certain ways, she makes him feel a certain way. And so she was like, he said, you wanted me to stop drinking, and I did. And, she didn't change. And so their relationship went low very quick. And so she was just like, I didn't hear it that way. I'm just now hearing it this way. And it's like, that's because, Dorit, you lack comprehension. You probably only let him talk so you can respond to him. You probably were talking to him out of anger because of the drinking and all that. But because when people detach and don't want to be bothered, you can pick up on that. You think you can verbally abuse somebody and think they just not eventually gonna just not like you. Men love differently, Dorit, and he's not putting up with you. And we'll get into that. So they say, yeah, we went from fussing to arguing and not cussing to cussing to hitting below the belt. So, my thinking, listening to PK, he wants another new chick. I think Dorit has aged out. PK, in his mind, I don't know where he think his money and riches are coming from, because PK, you need to calm down. I'm not sure if you on some gambling spree or whatever, but you are in debt. Your house is in foreclosure. You got a DUI. None of Dorit's businesses are going well because you have made her stop working to support you. You want a young chick to run behind you in the streets. You don't care about them kids. You don't care about this family you made. You're mad because Dorit got to stay home and be a mother. You put them babies in her. And I think that's very childish of you to be so old. And you sit here telling your wife, who has two little children, there is an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and you're pretty much telling her, I don't like our lifestyle that we created. You get mad at her. Let's get into it. Okay, so wait. He says, you were with me. Wait, he wants to come before the kids. Like, he like, F them kids. Let's go out. Well, then you need a nanny, sir, but you can't be out in the streets and be a father. And I believe PK, these are his probably second generation of kids. Like he probably has children as old as Dorit, probably, or maybe 5 years younger. And he ain't seeing it for these two. So, he says, you was with me all the time. He wants that social, vibrant Dorit. Well, you then turned her into a homebody mother, sir. She tried to get the bathing suit clothing line. You got in the middle of it, changed the name of it, and make this, that, and a half. I don't know what happened to the wedding dresses. She ain't doing that no more. But you out here gambling up all the money, filing bankruptcy. The house is in foreclosure, and now you got DUIs. Who is going to follow you? Like, who do you want? You are childish, PK. You are super childish. Talking about he was the money maker and the global entrepreneur. Excuse me, sir, you are a failure. If you're anything, you are a failure. Shoot. And so he says she makes him feel less than. No. Your bank accounts make you feel less than. Your failure of success makes you feel less than. It's not Dorit. You stopped her from working 2 or 3 times. What was she doing when you met her? I'm sure she was doing something. How can you just sit here and tell this girl that she, you gave her some kids and she can't hang out with you in the streets and now you mad? So then he wants to break their codependency because they talk 5 times a day. And he was like, oh, well, we're not gonna be doing that anymore. And Dorita's looking like, what? And you can tell right then is when I said Dorit thinks the separation is to get back together and be stronger and keep on going. She's finally now seeing possibly, maybe, that, oh, PK wants to break up. We're headed towards divorce. Oh, uh-huh. He said, yeah, we need to give each other the space to, woo, woo, woo. She thought they was happy-go-lucky, and she's unclear. So they just sitting there, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, well, let's go. We got to get up and wrap this thing on up. He like, I got to go show another woman this new jacket. So let's go. He probably had a date somewhere. He had a date that night, I'm sure. He was like, okay. And they left the restaurant separately. But they still was like, when they hugged and said goodbye, he called her honey. They still call each other honey. This is going to be something to see this. This is going to be something. But that was the end of the episode, besties. It was pretty good. It's just hard to see Grace and Frankie not getting along, and they both, got the same thing going on. It's like you would think they would bond together and be there for each other, but they sit here being petty behind, you picked my sister over me. You said I exaggerate our friendship. Like, yeah, why are you talking to interviewers but not talking to each other, Kyle and Dorit? Y'all kind of both what we gonna do with these two, y'all? Well, we gonna see what happens next week, because honey, Dorit is sitting there stuck. She went home and was like, wait a minute, did PK say? Yeah, PK and Mauricio both, they're headed to the streets. They want to be outside. PK definitely wants him another new chick. Younger. He needs a new, younger chick. Dorit, you have gotten old. He wants somebody to follow behind him and just think he's just the best thing that ever happened. And I don't know how and how that's going to happen with this gambling debt, being bankruptcy, losing homes, got a DUI. Like, I don't know how this going to happen, PK. But I guess, he can start over again. That's for sure. Well, besties, that was the end of the episode. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this week's episode, and I will talk to you later. Bye, besties.